Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ken Williams. I'm CEO of Wealth Migrate in the UK. I have joining me this evening on this webinar, JP DeBrain. He's our senior consultant, investment consultant for us. Welcome, JP. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. On this call, the idea is this shouldn't take any more than 35 minutes. We've got a very brief agenda to run through. We will try and fill that quickly for you, and we're going to do that as follows. I'm going to give you a little bit of information with regard to Wealth Migrate. That's going to be followed by a presentation from JP himself with regard to how you can build wealth through our platform, and that'll then be followed by an interview with Ingrid Ovenstone. We will then we'll come to a close with our ecosystem video. First and foremost, in a nutshell, Wealth Migrate is an online global directory of curated real estate. It offers the opportunity of individuals at their leisure to get into global property at the swipe of a finger. Our CEO, Scott Picken, has put together this business with the massive transformative purpose of taking international real estate to 1 billion people over a period of time. All of the properties are curated, very, very carefully curated through a highly a specific due diligence process, highly detailed due diligence process, and that follows a specific global supply strategy. And the properties that we put onto the platform are sort of upwards of $50 million US. It depends where we are, and that you can get into on the platform at the moment for as little as 1,000 US. The idea is to take this to 1 billion people for $1 US. The way that it works is each of these properties is separately ring-fenced and SPV'd in their own market, and then listed on a stock exchange. So you participate through equities within bricks and mortar, and that's at your discretion. We don't provide any investment advice. We provide you with the vehicle to get into properties. Just to show you a typical portfolio, this here is a portfolio with sort of a balance of 53 odd million US in the US, and you can see that there's sort of 7 or so investments. I mean, the whole idea is that you can then make your way through the site and choose an investment, and then invest that way after populating your wallet with cash according to your needs. The business has launched globally starting in September. We have offices in England, in China, in the US, in Australia, and in Dubai, and then obviously in South Africa. When we did this global launch, basically in the UK, we had just under 8,000 investors on the platform. And we've gone to 17,500 investors in the last 5 months. So the business is certainly going exponential. What's been interesting is we funded via equity 71 million worth of equity and just under $500 million worth of property. With that, I'm going to hand over to JP.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And the purpose for me tonight, I'm really just going to quickly start sharing my presentation, is to take you through how you can really look at investing in commercial real estate and what the possibilities are with the platform that we've really created. And we're going to touch on what you can actually do now with this newfound access to institutional quality real estate. So if you've never really considered or thought about investing in commercial real estate, there are typically 5 main categories that comes to mind when looking at this whole spectrum of investments. I'm not going to go into any detail of that. We will be releasing a workbook with a full diagram and explanatory information so that you can really educate yourself. But briefly, just it ranges from typical office investments, or the biggest one that most people can really recognize is the retail sector. In the UK specifically, and we've done deals within in this sector as well as in the multifamily side, typically known in the UK as the HMOs, which is the housing of multiple occupancies, or even just the buy-to-let schemes with multiple doors under one roof. Then you can actually get into the specialized nature when looking at actual hospitals, acute day hospitals, or anything that's more classified and more specially niched into that. So we will be releasing some information where you can really actually dig your nails into this to understand this properly. I just wanted to give you an overview of what the spectrum is available, and to give you a context on what we have been participating since we've started in 2014. We've really focused in the healthcare industry. You can see it's actually been the #1 performing asset class for the last 5 years running in the USA specifically. I'm not going to go into the details of why we focus in that as of such. We've got many of the videos we can review and go onto the platform. We just really love the sector in itself because of the fundamentals really make sense from a income volatility, or a lack of that, if I can really call it that. And so please feel free to go and look at any of our other webinars. If you haven't been exposed to this sector, we have an abundance of information for you available. What I want to really just to depict to you, so if you're really new to this sector, there's basically 4 types of categories that any type of deal gets quantified as. It's basically subdivided into 4, call it definitions, if you call it, and it ranges from the core to the opportunistic categorization. And what that effectively means is a core deal is typically where very strong income focus based, you've got a really strong profile with the long-term lease tenants in place. And then if you actually look down the spectrum on the opportunistic side, that's something where there's more of focus on the growth upon the exit. So this is just to actually quantify the type of opportunity before even looking at any of the numbers. If you look at the deal and it says it's a value add, you immediately understand what are some of the strategies that might be at play. We're not going into that at detail tonight. We will be presenting it more in detail to educate you as the investor to really understand how to really invest into this. Really briefly, what we as Wealth Migrate has done before the platform has started, we actually started in 2014 investing in these commercial assets, specifically with a focus of accumulating healthcare assets and more specifically the medical office buildings in and around medical campuses. We've actually to date funded 17 medical office buildings with a total of just over 400,000 square feet under our roofs of ownership. Which is what I think is really serendipitous for you as the investor attending tonight. As we speaking, actually closing out our first strategy in actually accumulating these assets and selling them off as a portfolio. And as we speaking, we're actually just crossing the T's and dotting the I's on our first deal. And that deal value is actually just north of $100 million, which really brings a lot of confidence that we've seen a trend in the market. We actually have a very sophisticated investment committee with great experience, and we're actually successfully executing on that first strategy. If you actually happen to follow us before and we've actually invested in all of these projects to date, in this specific portfolio, you would have received an average of a 9.62 cash on cash yield on your investments. And with the exit that we're facilitating on an overall portfolio view, you would actually receive a 61% capital growth on that, which effectively means that you would have gotten a 1.64 time multiple on your monies that you would have invested. Now, bear in mind, when we started with this, it was not available at $10,000 and the platform was not really yet set up. So the minimum investment was only to the high net worth or the top 1%. And you'll actually understand now, and this is where the business comes in, to make these kind of opportunities available to everybody. If you have a quick look just on the platform, really, if you log in, this is typically what you'll see on a standard opportunity. This is what's live on the platform currently, and it ranges from healthcare focused deals in the States. We've got some industrial opportunities, and we will also be sharing later with a call tonight on Billy on what we really have been finding out in the UK on what's the flavor of the month, or what's basically the demand from the investors on that side. And we will be bringing those opportunities to you very shortly. In short, what I really just wanted to show you today is actually how we really differ to the opportunities you had to date to invest or gain access into these assets. The REIT, which is what they call the Real Estate Investor Trust, was typically a vehicle where your retail investors could actually have exposure to a hard commercial real estate asset, but you had to do it by investing within a fund, and at their discretion or their mandate, they actually go and invest on your behalf. The biggest problem that we really see with this is there's actually a lot of middlemen included and a lot of management fees that ultimately really dilute your returns at the end of the day. And also, you don't have direct control within which assets you really can invest. And that's really the significant difference that we really bring into the market is we are starting to create, or we've actually created a marketplace where you can actually go and choose which individual opportunity to directly participate in. We're putting the power in you, the investor's hands, to really have a decision on what asset classes he wants to be exposed into. And we're going to really show you now what's the possibilities with what we've created under this technology by really just actually facilitating a very old investment philosophy and how you can start using this technology in building a generational wealth for you and your family in future. So in saying that, I'm just going to move over before I show you the strategy. And I think before we do this, it's important to know if you undertake anything in life, it's important for you. If you want to succeed, you really need to understand where do I want to go and have a plan on how I'm going to get there. Now, in saying that, is we can really see this. I mean, just if you go out to the top of the mountain, you just don't really just start randomly climbing. You really actually have to decide where am I going, what routes am I going to take. And in saying that, I'm going to really show you, for illustrative purposes, if you follow a strategy that is now available to follow on our platform, what is achievable with the platform and the type of opportunities we'll be exposing to you as the investor. In saying that, I'm just going to show you a little bit. We've made an assumption that you actually do follow a regular investment plan for a number of years, and we just want to show you what can the material difference be with what we're bringing to the market today. And what I've actually done is we've made an assumption that in this long-term investment strategy that you might follow or choose to follow in, we've done, so if you invest in a single investment opportunity, which is what is available at the moment, which we just previously shown, if you do $10,000 per quarter into an investment, and we hold that specific investment for 5 years, which is typically what we've done today and executed successfully to date, we'll be looking at assets that can yield you anything close to 8%. And as a conservative base, just in this strategy to show you, you don't necessarily have to go to the high rewarding exits on deals to really get a proper return, to get that compounding thing really going. So my assumptions I made here is in an investment, we actually hold the asset for 5 years and exit that with a 26% profit, giving you on the $10,000 you invested a total of $16,600 out on that. Now, bear in mind, this is what we actually made an assumption in going forward with everything. And I'm really going to show you how the platform can really make a difference to you to really start diversifying into multiple investments, and what the real benefit in doing that is in following a diligent plan. So what we've done is said, if you as a journey from the investor's perspective really decide, I'm going to commit to do a certain investment per quarter, and we've just run a arbitrary figure of $10,000 per quarter. We do that for 5 years and invest diligently on opportunities that come available in the marketplace. You would have accumulated $200,000 worth of just investments putting into the assets. Now, bear in mind the same assumptions we made on those investments. If I choose to really just live off these investments and not really actually put a penny back into anything I earn back into my portfolio, that investment opportunities will grow to $330,000 in a 10-year holding period. Now, the power with whether, and that is typically what you could have achieved by the standard traditional real estate investment model. Now, the power really comes in now that we actually, with the technology, allow you to reinvest all your income into new opportunities, giving you that real opportunity to earn compounding returns on your returns. And that's really the key. It's not in reinventing the wheel. We're just making it possible to do so. And I just wanted to show, if you decide to do that, and you decide only to reinvest the income of all your assets that you've accumulated in that 5 years and hold it for the 10-year period, it will already make a difference of $81,000 in your portfolio without putting an extra penny in your portfolio. And that just truly shows you what's the difference of actually being able to do this. Now, we've taken it a little bit of a step further and said, if you are committingly or willingly committing to, what you can do is on this, if you decide not to actually capitalize or materialize all your capital gains and keep on rolling that over to new investments, you can actually, in a 10-year holding period, from that 200,000 that you put in, earn $626,000. I mean, that's quite a substantive number, really showing you what the difference is, what we can do now. I've done the exact same thing and just going to show you what is the possibilities if we do this for a 20-year holding period. There's that exact same assumptions we made, and we just do this for 10 years with no reinvestment. Your portfolio would have grown to $683,000 from a net of 600 out of your pocket, which is also still a very respectable return and something really to be proud of that you can accumulate it. Now, if we do the exact same thing and say, I'm only going to invest or reinvest the income that I could earn, that actually will bump up your portfolio over the longer time to $1.7 million, truly showing you that the compounding effect with time in the market is really making the bigger difference. And now the final option that is available, if you really do not touch anything that this machine is starting to produce to you, you can really actually build up a portfolio of $2.5 million within a 20-year holding period. Now, that is a very powerful thing. If I tell you tonight, just off the bat, I can help you to build a $2.5 million portfolio, it sounds very intimidating, but actually looking at basic fundamentals of investments and basic mathematics that show you, if you have a diligent plan, it's really very achievable to do so. And there you can just see a graphical depiction of what the difference is if you follow this strategy. And just in finishing off, actually, I wanted to show you, if we actually execute this, what is your passive income, or we call it your annuity income, that you can achieve from the different options. So in the 10-year spectrum, if you didn't reinvest anything, you will actually retire with a passive income of $26,000 per annum, barring in mind that we invest in the same type of assets at an 8% yielding return. In option 2, we do the exact same thing, reinvesting only the income. You can get up to $32,000 per annum. And you'll see there, if you actually reinvest everything, it will actually bump up to $51,000. In finalizing, I just want to show you what's, again, the picture. If you commit for this for the longer run, and this is maybe more beneficial for the younger investor, what can be achieved in the end of the day. So you can actually, if you do this diligently for 20 years, finish up with a retirement annuity income of $200,000. And that's really what I wanted to share with you today, that this is now really possible for the everyday investor, really looking at stable income returns. You don't really necessarily have to go to those crazy risky investments to build a substantive retirement portfolio for you and your family.
So thanks very much, JP. And you know, it's obviously a means to an end here from JP. We're going to go across to Ingrid Ovenstone. She's our Global Investment Manager here in the UK, to interview Willie Olofsson. I want to let you introduce him, Ingrid, and then we'll come back for a...
Thank you, Ken and JP. I have the pleasure tonight of interviewing our Head of Due Diligence and Risk Assessment, Willie Olofsson. Willie has a career spanning 18 years in corporate and business banking, of which 3 years was spent working for JP Morgan and State Street. Currently, Willie is underwriting and doing the due diligence for properties in the USA, Australia, South Africa, and now in the UK. We had the privilege of having Willie join our team here in the UK for the past month. So I would now like to ask him a couple of questions off the back of that visit. Welcome, Willie.
Good evening, Ingrid, Ken, and JP, and investors out there.
Thank you very much. Right, I'd like to start off with the first question, if I may. So, why did you actually come to the UK in the first place, Willie?
For me, the main goal was to firstly meet potential property partners, to build relationships with these partners. As you mentioned, I've been focusing mostly on the USA, Australia, and South Africa, and now we want to really build out a property portfolio strategy in the UK. And for that, we need vetted partners that's been in the market for a number of years and that's been successful, and to give the investors the confidence that they are not just investing in a property, but also in solid relationships and partnerships.
Okay, so why do you think the UK is such a great investment destination?
Yes. So from my perspective is that we at Wealth Migrate have got specific criteria that we look at when we are evaluating why we're going to go into a country. And one of the things that is really standing out for me is the fact that even though if you look at Brexit taking place in the UK, I see it as a positive because of the fact that they want to be still relevant. The country is relevant in the greater schemes of the globe. They're the 5th largest by GDP in the world. The government in itself is promoting business. If I just consider, whilst I was there, Prime Minister Theresa May, she went in, on the public forum and indicated that the government is really going to work hard to stop the land banking to a certain extent, which is hindering productiveness in providing housing. So from our perspective, one of the important things is political stability. Yes, Brexit has caused some sort of instability, but not really instability. I would rather say uncertainty. But if we consider the doors that that's going to open by not being only focused on one, well, definitely the biggest economy, EU, but also giving them the opportunity to actually partner up with different countries, which is going to bring new opportunities. What we also seen is that Theresa May and her government is bringing in policies that is actually conducive to the technologies, sciences, mathematics, the changing world, the disruptive world where Wealth Migrate is playing part in, and they are actually providing 5 billion of capital to actually attract these and build these industries out, and which is going to additionally to one of the other things that we look at is population growth is going to stimulate that, because they're not just going to have people migrating into the UK, but people staying in the UK, wanting to come into the UK. For instance, one of the things that is also relevant is the fact that it's a foreign destination for students coming into the country. So most of the universities are driven by foreign students wanting to learn English. So you see a lot of people from the Asian markets, even the EU market coming into those countries, and South America wanting to learn English and learning from the best in the world is the UK. So the other things that is also important for us when we look at a country is the economical growth. And for the past 3 years, it's been going well with the UK, though there's an expectation that there might be a bit of a slowdown due to the Brexit uncertainties. That doesn't, I don't foresee it growing into a negative point of view, but that is one of the things that is great for us and is really important for us when we're looking at a country, that there's economic growth, there's job creations is driving spending drives industries, and from that perspective, the UK, I think, is still as relevant as it has been for the past 1,000 years.
Perfect. So then, what sectors will Wealth Migrate intend targeting, do you think?
As I said, one of the things that is really for us important is the population growth, and due to the housing shortage, the private rented sector for me is the #1 thing that we definitely going to look at. This is purely from a perspective that what we're seeing is that is the affordability of owning a house has become really problemsome since 2017, where the whole financial industry has changed around. We now need to provide a bigger deposit. That is playing hard on the drivers of owning a house, and that actually provides an opportunity for what they call the buy-to-let schemes. Now, from our perspective, is there's definitely a lot of opportunity in the buy-to-let market. So we've actually met a partner which is also operating in the US, where they call it multifamily units. And this buy-to-let schemes of 100+ units is actually providing the necessary new amenities that the millenniums want. You know, they want their internet, they want to be close, it needs to be viable. So we see that these schemes are actually quite not necessarily the cheapest, but it's actually bringing the value that these millennials are looking to pay for. So given the older housing out there, HMOs for us will play a role in that sense, because there's still a lot of properties out there. You've seen the restrictions in the UK is what they call listed properties. So what you find is that there's still opportunities in these properties, but because they are listed, it means that it actually causes, or not cause, the developer cannot change the outside of the building. So you're still going to see those red brick properties, which I like, the Victorian styles, but the HMO actually unlocks that value of it. So it's a house of multiple occupancies. So formerly it was maybe a 5-bedroom, that's now recreated in a 6 or 7 bedroom. And the millennials also like it, especially when they are well positioned. And we've actually found a partner in Migrate that is well positioned for us to actually partner with. And these opportunities that they're offering is not just a one house, it is 23 houses, which we are buying as a whole. And that will give us firstly the opportunity to give income generating from those assets immediately, and at the same time a bit of a capital value add, because there's a couple of those units that still need some renovations and upliftment that actually can provide the investors with additional capital gains to their investment, not just whilst they're still earning income. If we look at the aging population, elderly care, retirement villages is very, very attractive at this stage because it's still in its infancy. So if we can come in with a partner that actually provides us those opportunities, that's going to be first class. Unfortunately, in this time round, I've not met a partner yet that actually can provide us with a sufficient pipeline yet. But that's why I'm going to visit you guys not in the near, not too far in the near future. The last one is the student accommodation, as I alluded to earlier, is that it's a foreign destination for foreign students coming in, wanting to learn English. So you still see there's a big underpinning demand for people coming into the UK wanting to learn. And for me, that is also in the past been one of the stable asset performing or outperforming most of the other residential classes out there, and even commercial classes in the UK in itself. So we're still also in search of a partner that can provide us that pipeline that we can actually offer the investors a good income generating asset at the end of the day.
Excellent. And the last question I have for you, Willie, in your opinion, what is a good UK investment proposition? Is it income opportunity or a growth opportunity?
Sure. Ingrid, yeah, that's actually a challenging question from my point of view, because one of the investment committee's mandates at this stage for us in looking at deals is firstly, we want to look at an income generating asset. And given that the UK is quite a mature market, there is not a lot of opportunity. Well, let me restate. There's a lot of opportunities. And because there's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of players in the market, which is actually causing the capitalization rate to be lower, which means that your the interest and yield that you are going to be as high as what you find in the USA. And from that perspective, I foresee that we're going to have a growth portion as well. So I'm going to find a balance between the income and the growth, because we want to make sure that the investors actually do get a quarterly dividend in the diversification portfolio strategy in the UK, as well as they already have experienced in the US, so that they can actually build a capital base underpinned with income generating assets. So if I compare it now, the HMO that I referred to earlier, the partner, they've got already income that's going to be generated through that opportunity. So be on the lookout. It's going to be within the next 3 weeks. We are just going through the necessary vetting and due diligence and regulatory requirements to bring that opportunity to you as an investor. And on the growth side, we've got the opportunity of the buy-to-let scheme, which most of the risk have been decked off. So you might not have a big capital gain, but your risk is also less, and you're going to have a capital gain with a bit of a holding period. So there's going to be a hybrid, as I would say, between an income and a growth. So it's going to be a bit of a growth and then an income receiving. This opportunity you will also be hopefully as an opportunity on the platform within the next 3 weeks, given the necessary vetting and regulatory requirements that we need to go through.
Excellent. So thank you for your time tonight, and thank you for your knowledge that you've shared with us. And we look forward to chatting to you again. Thank you very much, and back over to Ken.
As a final wrap, we would just like to show you our ecosystem video, and we're going to put that on and stream it shortly. Thank you very much for attending, and we look forward to chatting to you in due course.
Yeah, I appreciate your time.
We'd like to introduce you to a revolution unlike any other throughout the history of mankind. This is a wealth revolution, and it's going global. Did you ever think that you'd be able to benefit from the only real, time-honored investment mankind has ever known? Real estate. Real estate investing has only ever been accessible to a small percentage of the world's population. This is no longer the case. The wealth revolution means that wherever you are on your wealth journey, be it taking your first steps or taking off globally, you can join our global community, a community of real estate investors just like you. The Global Wealth Group is experiencing exponential growth, and wealth has never been this accessible. A truly global wealth revolution. We dream big, and our dream is to impact the lives of 1 billion people. 1 billion people. How will we do this? Through groundbreaking digital platforms that allow investors like you to take part in exciting real estate investment opportunities. These opportunities are waiting for you everywhere, anywhere, worldwide. Now you can invest in real estate with any amount of money, from the comfort of your couch or your internet device. Introducing our global brand ecosystem. Wealth Create, Wealth Migrate, Wealth University, the Wealth Movement, and the Wealth eCoin, which unlocks the entire ecosystem. WealthCreate.com is a platform for those taking their first steps on the wealth journey. The new investors who earn whilst they learn using real or virtual currency. Imagine this. Now anyone can own part of a hospital, a share in their local shopping mall, co-invest in a new and exciting development, or even earn quarterly returns from residential and commercial tenants. They, you, can now stand alongside multi-millionaire investors and earn the same relative amounts. WealthMigrate.com is a platform for those investors who are already soaring, as well as those who seek to join them. You can now own and manage a global portfolio of commercial real estate and do it all online. You'll benefit from the capital growth of your investments and get paid quarterly dividends in first world currencies, whether they be from commercial tenants or the funding of developments. The global dashboard shows all available opportunities, potential investment pledges, upcoming deals, and most importantly, allows you to manage your global diversified portfolio in one place. Passports and visas also become easier to obtain, as well as tax-efficient structures that allow global flexibility. Create the freedom you desire for you and your family. WealthUniversity.org is a video-based e-learning platform for those who want their wealth knowledge to take off. Our research shows that the wealth mindset is the single most important aspect of creating and sustaining wealth. Test your wealth IQ and challenge friends and family to find out theirs. Acquire the thinking, secrets, habits, and proven success strategies used by the world's wealthiest investors, as well as that of our global community, who aren't just talking about it, but are actually creating it. Graduate and change your destiny and your future. wealthmovement.com is the global gathering of our fans and followers in conferences hosted in local cities around the world, inspiring minds to help each other create more sustainable global wealth. The goal? To build a wealthier world together, and together to help reduce the wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots. Gain the latest up-to-the-minute knowledge of technology forecasts, internet finance, exponential thinking, collaborative smart investing, co-creation, apps and platforms, global wealth forecasts, cryptocurrencies, and new and exciting investment opportunities. This is your chance to meet your global wealth partners, co-investors and friends, to be inspired by the world's wealthiest individuals and to learn to think how they do. Wealth.io is our cryptocurrency which is based on real estate. It unlocks the entire ecosystem, whether it be the community working together on due diligence, education, investments, social networking, community engagement, purpose, or many other applications within the global wealth group ecosystem. Let's build a wealthier world together. The Wealth eCoin is the catalyst to ensure this happens. At the Global Wealth Group, we are pioneering a global wealth revolution. Join us. Let's change the world